Okay, I did a little bit of an adjustment. Maybe I'm almost too close for comfort for some of you, but I think that my audio will be much better because again, I can't quite pull out the levels that I've pulled out at different times because I'm not in a place where it's very conducive to audio recording without getting knocks on the doors and ruined takes. I came across an article that really just rubs me the wrong way. Granted, it's not law yet, but this is one thing that shouldn't even be taking a foothold in this country. For as much call that, oh, us Christians were so persecuted, comes this article out of Arizona, of all places, the place where people crying about the restriction of the Second Amendment have had gun stores that have posted signs that if you happened to have voted for Obama, you must let yourself be known because you cannot buy a gun through them, thus, in a way, restricting Second Amendment rights. Yeah, I'm really loving the bizarre hypocrisy where the only people who are actually costing jobs, restricting people's freedom to firearms and so on and so forth are actually the people who are crying that the government is the one who's doing it. Anyways, let's get into this article here. Arizona Republican proposes bill that would not allow atheists to graduate high school. Do I even need to say anything further beyond rereading that because it bears repeating? Arizona Republicans propose bill that would not allow atheists to graduate from high school. A group of Arizona politicians, all Republicans of course, have proposed a law, House Bill 2467, requiring public high school students to recite the following oath in order to graduate. I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservations or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discard these duties, so help me God. To quote Comedy Central's Ian Garner, nothing says, I take this obligation freely, quite like a state law that withholds your diploma unless you swear an oath. Graduating high school is not the same as voluntarily accepting the responsibility of a public office or administration to the legal bar. A high school diploma is, with extreme few exceptions, required to have a chance to live above the poverty level. It is the culmination of an education that up until that point was compulsory. Basically put, I know it's a small thing in terms of the oath itself, but because then this is going to be people who are going to come to my channel saying, you're probably upset because it says in God we trust on our money, which of course it didn't originally, but I'm not going to get into the whole I'm not going to get into the messy nature of historical facts. We don't want to muddy these waters with the actual truth about our money. That said, I don't care. The fact that the word God is in my pocket whenever I bring money with me does nothing for me. But if this truly is this thing where they're going to say, oh, you're going to say that last line or you don't get a diploma, I have to ask, what does being a theist or an atheist have to do with your cognitive abilities, with your academic abilities? If somebody tests and they get all their work done, they get all their hours done, they get all their credits completed, everything is perfect, and you're going to withhold their diploma stating that they are competent and that they have learned all this educational foundation has to offer, you're gonna revoke their rightfully earned diploma simply because they might have an objection to swearing to God. Are you frickin' kidding me? See, this goes back to a lot of talks I've had about, well, why does being God-fearing mean that you're any more qualified for office than somebody who just simply doesn't believe? Considering how many of them are taking on the old style Puritan idea of, oh, you're into religious freedom? Yeah, we can't have none of that. No. Our sect of Christianity is the one true one, and we're going to eradicate you by either pushing you off the continent, subjugating you, or making laws against you, or in some cases throwing you in prison. Now, that was then. This is now where we're much more civilized. So we just make BS laws that say that, oh, I'm all for religious freedom, so long as it's the religious freedom to practice my religion, not yours. To which I say, what does that have to do with the ability of somebody to govern? Oh, but these militant atheists, they're all militant anti-theists. Oh, really? Prove it. Am I militant anti-theist? I happen to be atheist. I'm an agnostic atheist, but I happen to be atheist. You know, I'm not going to stand up here and say, oh, there absolutely emphatically is no God. I just do not believe in the flawed characters in most of the religious books that I've had the displeasure of reading over several times and finding so many character flaws that it's ridiculous. But my bearing on that, if I were to run for office, I wouldn't touch the Bible. I wouldn't touch the your religious institutions. And in a way, it almost they act at times. It's implied. It's an implied situation of, well, if this person gets into office, then they're going to make all sorts of laws. What's next? Baby eating is going to become legal. Oh, I suppose they're going to make bestiality a thing that must be performed on every Tuesday. And don't forget that some of these atheists are soft on pedophiles, so you can expect that that child molestation will become legal and child rape will be done in the streets and the blood of the innocent will flow onto the streets. It'll be just like the prophecy says. Now, I'm not saying every Christian or every theist feels this way, especially not in a almost British accent, but there comes a point where you have to ask, what are you seriously afraid of? What do you honestly think in your mind's eye is going to happen if by chance an atheist gets elected to office? What, they're going to destroy your religious institutions? On what grounds would they have to do that? The Establishment Clause, the very one that you tend to ignore except for when it works for you, means that we really can't, as a government body, destroy your religion. Which in the case of Scientology really is a bummer of a thing. But even then, hey, you want to get taken for a ride, that's fine. But if you try to use Scientology against myself or a member of my family who does not wish to be a part of that, then we've got a problem. But again, there's only so much a governmental person can do in terms of religion. So what's the problem? Where's the issue? I'm not getting it. And it's not because I'm an atheist. It's because all I hear is, oh, I assume you're going to do this if you get into office. And I'm not hearing people saying, oh, I assume you're going to do that. But, okay, sorry. I'm getting off track here. You'll have to forgive me. It's been a very long day for me. But the point is, what does belief in God have to do at all with your academic ability? If you've earned your diploma, you've earned your diploma. And I'm sorry, these are public schools. If it's private schools, private religious schools, charter religious schools, do that all you want. I still think that it's rather bad judgment, poor taste, and does not have anything to do with whether this person has actually passed their classes and their credits and everything or not. But When it's public schools, no, I'm sorry. Because this this doesn't mean anything. This shouldn't mean anything. But you're making it as is supposed to mean something, because apparently if you're atheist, you're not you do not hold the ability to have a high school equivalent education, and therefore are not ready for college or cannot go on to college because you're just, in which case, in this, you're just going to drive people to go get their GED, unless you're going to make it to where they can only get their GED if they recite this stupid oath. And at the end of the day, what does this accomplish? Oh, what? You're going to have people who have to be at the ceremony, who have to make sure that this law is enforced? Or no, let me guess. You're going to personally go to each and every one of these graduations and make sure that this is going on because why? I've read the Bible. I've read several Bibles. Nowhere in it does any of it seem to say, oh, and by the way, each and every high school graduate must recite some sort of oath to God. No! Because even the writers of these books knew better. This is just so arbitrary and stupid, and it's a waste of time. And then you wonder why some of us worry about the influence of theism at times. Well, not the influence, but when people take their theism too far, when they overstep their bounds and try to usurp other people's human rights simply because they don't agree with them. Because, oh, let's say we give you this. Okay, I'll give you that, but then in my state, we're going to make a law that in order to get a high school graduation, even though this has, again, nothing to do with atheism, I'm going to make you recite a pledge of allegiance to Satan. Because we got to be equal here. If you're going to force people to swear an oath to your particular God, or a construct of God, then I should have every right to enact a law in another state where you have to recite a pledge, an oath to Satan in order to get your diploma. I mean, we're supposed to be a free country. Things are supposed to be equal, right? Oh, right, that's right. I forgot. You're Republicans. You don't believe in equality because equality is of the devil. Well, I don't know what to say to you then. This is stupid. Read the rest of the article, link down in the underbar, but this is a waste of time. It's stupid. Why? Why is this necessary?